make sure it's kosher. Lean on me like Bill Withers until you smell the roses.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscriber died trying. You see the thumbnail. Is it true that you can't knock the hustle? I don't think so. This was inspired by two people, O'Shea Duke Jackson and Baldhead Jamaican. So shout out to both of y'all. O'Shea did a video recently on people re-uploading Kevin Samuels material and making money on their YouTube page from doing it and getting more views than he got, and thus taking away money from his family, his daughter, his mother, so on and so forth. And I shared it, and in the comment section of that, Bald-Headed Jamaican was like, well, what's the issue per se? So we had a conversation. I was like, it's one thing to bootlegging a guy when he's dead and taking away money from his family. That's not a hustle to me. He's like, you can't can you knock the hustle? And I was like, he said, can't knock the hustle. And I was like, I can. Because, and we got in a conversation, it was cool. I was saying how, hustles aren't honorable. There's no honor in a hustle, because the way we think of hustles is to use or manipulate a situation for our benefit, but actually somebody else did all of the heavy lifting and the legwork. So we're gonna come in and I'm a hustle. I'm a hustle. Now, you see, I'm just finessing this situation. And in my mind, you're just a scam artist. Like, hustle is just a acceptable word for scam artists. And with this Kevin situation, I thought about it, in a bigger sense of, what hustle can you knock? Because with most people, every time they say it's a hustle, you can't knock anybody's hustle. Normally anything goes. Like, there's somebody who will say any unethical, immoral, unscrupulous thing a person does for money is, so you can't knock their hustle. Yeah. Hey, Black Dynamite, I sell drugs to the community. Can't knock that hustle. I make money trafficking people. Can't knock that hustle. I make money stealing from people who actually done the hard work. Can't knock the hustle. I make money by, how can I say this? Manipulating people out of their money by using their family members and friends. Can't knock the hustle. And I forgot the name of this movie that was on Netflix where, forgot who the star was. It was a female. She was basically preying on older people and putting them in retirement homes and draining their bank accounts. Taking away their property, taking away their bank accounts, and stealing from those people because they were supposed to be old and fragile and they couldn't take care of themselves, and didn't even let their families get the opportunity to take care of them, because if they did that, they would have had access to their funds. And she wound up taking somebody's mother who was actually a mob boss. And then instead of him killing her, they got in the business expanding that, doing it to multiple people. And the very first guy that said he was going to get her at the beginning killed her at the end. Now, why do I say that? Because it was a hustle for her. It was a come up, right? But the interesting thing about, hustles is people on the other side of your hustle have a tendency to want to hurt you. Even when you talk about people trying to be quote unquote street in a sense, and they go, hey man, you can't knock that person's hustles. There's a lot of violence that goes on in the underworld from people trying to hustle somebody. This was the price. You didn't pay it. You ran off. And you think you're just gonna come back and pay me, what you owe me initially that you ran off with, and we just good. No, you're gonna get hurt. you use the person and they wasn't feeling it, and you, hey man, it's the hustle, it's part of the game. If it costs them, time and money, they coming for blood. It's a hustle. Like robbing people is considered a hustle, really. Hey, you can't knock my hustle. I'll rob people. Like, okay. But, the interesting thing about all of this stuff to me is, like, how can I say this? Young ladies can become strippers. They can't knock her hustle that she's selling herself. But the interesting thing about this hustle is there are too many people who think it's okay to benefit off of somebody else's work. That's what's sad about the hustle mentality. The hustle mentality is literally to watch somebody build something from nothing, because a lot of people, I got it out the mud. A lot of people who have a hustle mentality never got it out the mud. They've watched somebody get it out the mud and they swoop in to try to steal it, after the fact. Like, oh, how was just hustle? You had to be sharp on your toes. Like, okay, that person gonna do something really, really harsh to you, and we're not gonna feel sorry for you. But in my opinion, you can always knock the hustle because it's not really a respectable thing. Hustle used to be, hey man, I got this little job that makes this money, and this little job that makes this money, and that job that makes this money. It was like, you know, building on an honest day's work. But hustle has become, trying to hit a lick off a dishonest day's work. And for me, I can always knock that. I don't know about y'all, but that's just my opinion. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace. I think peace.